Oh, Brenda's not here.
Yes, I can. So this is a roll call for
The
just say
trustees.
yeah, just say present when you're here. Jan Rabbit,
Present.
Joanne McNamee,
Present.
Carol Seitz,
Present.
just Mary Hines,
Present.
Richard Mahoney,
Present.
Bill Callahan,
Present.
Judy Kelly,
Present.
Loretta Shuck, Catherine Tipo, present. Am I missing anyone?
Loretta.
Maybe she's,
Well,
maybe
Well,
she'll-
I meant, did I miss anyone's name when I said it?
I don't think so. I think that's everybody. Thank you, Catherine.
Mhm.
And before we start the regular agenda, I'd like to welcome back Bill Callahan from his surgery. How you doing, Bill?
Fine, thank you. Every day is getting better.
Good. Glad to see you're back with us. So with that, we have the minutes from the September 15 meeting.
I move that we waive the meeting of the minutes, Janet.
I'm sorry?
I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. All in favor? Oh, we need a roll call. I'm
We need
sorry.
a roll call. So do you want me to do it again?
Yes, please.
So Jan,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes,
Carol,
Yes.
Catherine, yes. Should I not include Loretta or?
I don't see her on, so she may not be able to attend.
All right, then I won't call her name.
Okay,
And
thank you. So the motion carries 8-0. Approval of bills. We won't have the final bills for October until the end of the month. So with the board's permission.
Madam Chairman, Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
point of order, should we be voting to approve or disapprove the minutes?
Yes. Yes, we
You're
should.
very true. I'm sorry, I skipped that part.
should be a roll call vote on that as well, Jan.
Yes, thank you. So is there a motion to approve the September 15th minutes?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please, Catherine.
Jan,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes,
Carol,
Yes.
Catherine, yes.
Thank you, Catherine. So the minutes were approved 8-0. Yesterday, and while we're still on the minutes, I emailed the board the minutes beginning, the trustees meetings minutes beginning. I sent January 7th, February 4th, March 3rd, April 7th, March 5th, June 2nd, and June 16th. The June 2nd, I'm sorry.
Madam President, I just texted Loretta. She says she's waiting to get on.
Oh, she is.
That's what she just texted me.
Thank you, Carol. John, you don't see her there? We're not seeing her.
Okay.
Carol's, I think she's sending her an email.
I did. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Maybe she can try getting on again, start over. So to continue, when the September minutes came to me today, I realized that the June 2nd and June 16 minutes were approved at the September meeting. What I'm requesting that the board members do is review the minutes, the January, February, March, April, and May minutes between now and the November meeting, just in case they haven't seen them before, or in case they may have some revisions that they'd like to bring up, because I've lost track of which minutes were approved and which were not. So this way we could ratify them at the November meeting, just to be safe, so that there's nothing that left unapproved. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Jan, I don't see them in my email.
I'll be happy to send them to you again, Joanne. I have an iCloud message, email address for you now. Is
And
that?
oh, wait a minute. Let me just double check. No. No, can you send it to the MSN? MSN.com. Same beginning with the MSN.
I'll be happy to, Joanne. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
That's your old email, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I am making a note right now to do that for you. And again, Joanne, you only have to look at the January through May ones. The other two in June, we already voted to approve those at the September meeting, and they're in the September minutes.
That's fine.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yes, Mary?
Just a question. Do we need to vote on whether we will do what you just recommended and bring these minutes to the November meeting for our approval, or is that, do we need to vote on that or not? That's my question.
We're going to ratify them, I think, in the November meeting. That way, if they've already
But do
been
we need to
approved.
vote today that we're going,
No,
no, okay.
no, I don't think so. No, because we already voted to accept the September minutes, but these other minutes, because they were so late going out, I want to give everybody the opportunity to review them again in case somebody has some questions or
Fine,
changes.
just checking.
Okay, thank you. Can we move forward now with approval of the bills? Once I think we'll have more bills at the end of the month than we do now. Bonnie would know that, correct, Bonnie? I mean, right now, Brenda isn't available, so I don't have anything to sign. So let's just pass over that for now, if that's okay with everybody. Unfinished business from the previous meeting. Does anybody have any?
Yes, I have a question. Did
Sure,
they
Joanne.
ever solve the problem about the panic buttons? They were going to get back to us on that.
I have no idea.
Dave Mastronardi's looking into it.
Say that again?
Dave Mastronardi from the city is.
Oh, thank you. Bonnie said Dave Mastriani from the city is looking into it, but she hasn't heard anything yet.
Okay, thank you.
Can you follow up on that, Bonnie, when you get a chance? Thank you very much. Anybody else have any unfinished business? Hearing none, we can move on to the director's report. Bonnie?
I'm happy. Can you hear me?
Barely.
I'd be delighted to. One moment, please. Click to unmute.
Okay, can everyone hear me? I'm happy to report that the sprinkler system's been installed on the front lawn, and that's all I have.
Can't hear you, Jan.
I know.
Oh.
I just tried that. I just tried to unmute.
We can hear you now.
Thank you. Okay, so that was the director's report. Reports on committees, building and grounds. Bill, I don't know if you have anything or not.
I think Bonnie just covered a little bit. The sprinkler system is in place. I think we have to have the master box and everything put in place later on this week. But it'll be in place and ready to use next spring. You probably all noticed that the lawn is getting great use with all the outside activities that are going on. So we'll be in good shape next year to have a good, healthy lawn so that we can continue the outside activities as soon as the snow ends.
Sounds good, Bill, and you'll be in good shape by then to.
I'll be cutting the grass myself,
Right.
yes. Yeah, by hand.
There you go.
Thank you for your report. Okay,
Yeah.
Hmm?
I just want to add to building and grounds, the Kamar Memorial Bench will be installed Tuesday.
It's coming Tuesday. Okay.
The bench is coming Tuesday. I've talked to the brother, Adam, and talking with his family and stuff like that. Their plan is in a few weeks, no special date, the family's going to come together on a Saturday or a Sunday and just have a quiet memory at the bench. They don't want any fanfare or anything else going on, etc. Along the same line, I met with a fellow by the name of Chuck Scherzy, who sent the original letter 2 years ago to Andrea, and then it went to Rebecca, and ended up with Dory about installing a children's garden in that area. I met with him a week ago for about an hour, and he would not be doing anything until the spring, and there was no sprinkler system at that time. He was going to do the garden in memory of his mother. And I told him I don't think the Kamar family would have a problem one way or the other. Anyways, he's going to rethink what he was doing. His mother was a big fan of the library. They lived in Woburn for years, moved to Andover a number of years ago, but she left some money and instructions if they could do anything for the library. So he's still working on that, and we'll connect again in the spring.
And Richard, is there anything we need to do Tuesday for the crew coming in to install the bench?
And I don't know, they didn't give me a time when they were coming, et cetera, but they're going to handle it. That's part of the program. That's part of the cost, was they were going to deliver it and set it on the pad there.
Okay, so there's nothing that our staff needs to do to accommodate them?
No.
Okay,
No.
Just checking. Thank you.
When I find out the time, I'll let everybody know.
Thank you.
Dan,
Yes?
Loretta just texted me. She's tried her iPad and her iPhone. It continues to say there's another meeting in session and she can't get in.
Is she at home? She is?
I don't know.
If she is, she can come down. I'm at the library here because my
Okay.
iPad doesn't always cooperate. I'm sure John could set her up quickly if she wishes to drive down.
Okay. All right, there we go. There.
So should we continue or?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully Loretta will make it before the end. All right, we're up to finance. I've been busy since our last meeting on finance. So I finished the work on the investments, and our CPA is now working on our tax return, which is due November 15th. He said he'll be coming in until that's completed. And once it is, I'll sign it and we can file it so we're not late. Changes to Morgan Stanley portfolio. We'll move on to the investment managers. As all of you will recall, we retained a new bond manager from Morgan Stanley in March. Since April, George has been transferring funds into the new bond account from bonds that have matured in the original bond fund. The original bond fund was up 0.76 and is invested in 100% ultra short-term bonds and cash. This fund will only be utilized to realize our annual obligations to the city of Woburn each August 1st. Now, the rest of the Morgan Stanley portfolio, the portfolio as of 10/13/20 was up 5.12% year to date. The S&P 500 was up 8.7 for the year, and Barclays Aggregate Bond Index is up 6.85 year to date. The portfolio is currently 46.6% stocks and 43.4% in bonds and cash. The new bond fund is up 6.76% since its inception in April of this year. The equity in the international fund is up 6.83% year to date, as the small cap and international allocations have had a very strong month. The equity dividend strategy fund is up 3.75% for the year. The allocation is 90% US large cap value and 10% large cap growth stocks. At this time, most equity sectors are still down for the year. Only US large cap growth, which is up 31% year to date, and emerging markets are in positive territory. We have seen great returns month over month for the Woburn Public Library Morgan Stanley portfolio. Now we can move on to Fidelity. As I reported last month, the WPL investment accounts held at Fidelity continue to recover from the March 31st, 2020 low point. All of the accounts continue to perform well. For the 6-month period, April 1 through September 30, The portfolio shows a 31% increase. Through the month of August, the market saw continual interest from investors in purchasing technology stocks in particular. Entering September, observations made by market watchers pointed out that technology stocks were overvalued, and we saw a pullback in that sector as well as the broader market. In addition, concerns again surfaced as to the outcome of the election. Other issues that continue to affect the markets: COVID-19. The timeline for the development and approval of a vaccine to deal with the pandemic is an ongoing market concern. Several companies at various stages of clinical trials for vaccines, and they have separately initially tested. 3 or 4 of the companies have had to pause their trials because the participants have experienced unforeseen health issues after having been administered the trial vaccine. This has created a measure of uncertainty about when the US will have an approvable vaccine and when it will actually be available to the broad population. The market takes notice of these developments daily. The stimulus. Much has been said about the need to have a second round of stimulus payments to help the economy to continue to recover from the effects of the pandemic. Negotiations between the administration and the Congress, particularly the House of Representatives, are ongoing. But it seems that the devil is in the details. Efforts are ongoing, and there are developments in the news every day. The administration would like to have a final agreed upon bill before election, but that seems more uncertain at this time. Oil markets continue to be depressed. Federal Reserve. Chairman Jeremy Powell recently announced that interest rates will remain low, almost zero, through 2023. The Fed sees a long, slow road to economic recovery. Finally, the airlines. This important sector of the economy continues to be challenged in an effort to recover. They are depending on a further participation in a final phase 2 of the stimulus plan. So too are many small businesses and individuals. Company earnings and guidance play an important role in the market every day and on a continuous basis. And that's my finance report. Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, we can move on to the discussion of the open meeting law complaints. Since our last meeting in September, we received 3 open meeting law complaints. 2 of the complaints were regarding the WPL Facebook terms of use. These complaints were from Jonathan Kuberry and Jasmine Parthisathe. The city solicitor said we do not need to approve this usage policy, and these two complaints did not qualify as OML complaints. This is only a term of use. It is not a policy. We have never voted it, and we never will. Does anybody have any questions on that? The third OML complaint was regarding the minutes and was from Jasmine Parthisathe, stating that some of the minutes were marked draft while others were not. The OML complaint regarding the draft minutes assumes that the minutes were approved behind closed doors because they were not marked draft. Obviously, they were not so approved. Going forward, I have asked Brenda to mark the minutes as draft in watermark in order to avoid confusion. Recently, Brenda has been under considerable pressure to get the minutes to the city solicitor as soon as possible due to the minutes request being received immediately after the conclusion of the trustees meeting. From now on, the request for minutes will be answered that the draft minutes will be provided when the draft minutes are complete. This way, Brenda is not rushed. The city solicitor has asked that we give her the authority to respond to these 3 OML complaints to the Attorney General's office. Is there a motion to authorize City Solicitor Ellen Doucette to respond to the 3 OML complaints to the Attorney General's office on the trustees' behalf?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I
And I have a
second.
question. Jan, I have a question
Yes, Richard?
on the first two, the ones of the policy.
Yes.
I read those. I don't recall them right now, but my recollection is 2 years ago when we were preparing for the transition to the temporary location, et cetera, we were deeply involved with establishing policy that Andrea was working with. And didn't we meet with those things and vote on those things?
We,
Honestly, I don't recall, Richard. You'd have to go back and bring me
Yeah.
something more than that. Off the top of my head, Richard, I don't know. It's
Seems
fine,
to be
but this
written
is not a written policy. It's a usage policy. Nobody approves that. No company, no board, no organization would approve a usage policy. It's not something we created.
Who created it?
the admin team, it's their responsibility. If you look up the duties of the director, that is one of the duties, is to create. And it's a terms of use, it's not a policy. When we were when Andrea brought policies, it was a policy about the archives. It was a policy about usage of XYZ. It was not a terms of use on a Facebook page. That's very different.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Madam Chair, but just one comment. As technology speeds by very quickly, it almost demands that terms of use be adapted quickly to react to it too. And they can change in a matter of months. Things are moving much faster than they did years ago. To Richard's point, yes, we did discuss some policies, and I think it is worth over the next month or so to going back. We Andrea proposed some policies, we voted on some, and she also alerted us to some that were in the making, and I don't think we got to them yet. So I think we need to put that policy issue thing in focus so we can go back, see what we have, see what's on the table, and see what's needed, and then come forward with it.
Well, that makes sense, Bill. Does anybody want to take this on? Richard, do you want to handle this, going back and seeing what we voted in?
My recollection is, and I'd have to go back and look if we agreed on these. I can remember the discussion on the use of the program room by different groups, et cetera, and like guidelines and rules and regulations. That being said, we also recognize that we could set up the policy, but then once the building opened and we started using the room, it would be flexible and it'd be changed and stuff like that.
I remember that one also, Richard.
Yeah, so I'd like to dig them up and review them en masse rather than, I mean, I think it's something that all of us should kick in on and help develop.
I'm just not sure where to start. I mean, when would that have been, Richard? Like December of 18 or that?
I'm going to say it was the fall of 18.
The fall of 18?
Preparation for moving in April of 19.
I may have a lot of them on my computer.
I may have some of them too. To be honest, I don't know what I've got, but.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's got to go back and see what we can find and go from there.
Well, why don't we all do that? And if somebody comes across these things, you can certainly email them to me and we can take a look at what we've got, and I can print them all out or email them to everybody and we can all take a look at them if that's convenient.
Great. Good.
I think there's also policies listed on our website, aren't there? Aren't there, Bonnie?
Yes,
There are?
yeah, there
Okay. So we should also take a look at those to see if any of those needs to be updated as well.
But to clarify, like usage does not need to be approved by us, right?
That's what Ellen's ruling is that a usage
Okay, I just want to clarify.
does not have to be, it's not an OML complaint and it does not have to be voted by the board.
So
Because
what we're doing is just going back and looking at past
Policies,
information.
policies
Yes,
terms of use, yeah.
but it has nothing to do with the current
nothing to
complaint.
do with this one, no.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
But again, we have Carol made a motion to accept allowing the city solicitor to respond on our behalf, but it wasn't seconded. Is there a second now on that motion?
I second it. It's Judy.
Any more discussion before we do a roll call? Hearing none, would you please take a roll call, Catherine?
Yes, Jan,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
Richard,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes,
Joanne,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes,
Carol,
Yes.
Catherine, yes.
And Loretta said she's at the library, so I don't know if she's gotten in the meeting yet or not.
Okay.
John
Thank
set her up with the laptop, but I don't know. That's all I know.
Yeah, I don't know where she is.
Yeah.
She's around the corner.
She's also-
She's all set. Bill says, John says,
So
okay.
Loretta, do you want me to call her now?
Yes. She's all set. She's coming in
Okay.
now.
No, I'll go.
Here she is. We'll give her a minute to join us because John's setting her up as we speak.
We're good.
no, where am I? Oh, okay, now.
There you
Hello,
are.
Loretta.
Oh, I'm here. I apologize for being late, but nothing worked in my house.
No, that's happened to me. That's why I come down here now and you end up driving 50 miles an hour to get here. I know.
Right, right. I went through
I've
this.
done it to myself. That's why I just come down here until
Okay, I apologize. I got here about 3:20, 25.
Yeah,
That's
it's
time.
okay. Don't worry about it. Well, it's okay. The next item is new business, report on the library pumpkin patch. That's Catherine.
Yeah, so we have a pumpkin patch coming up and on Sunday, the 25th, and it's already sold out. And we have a whole system in place and we have everything ordered and it's ready to go.
Oh, wow. The
Do you
Yeah,
need
I-
our-
library's beautiful, Catherine. I went in yesterday. The poster at the front entrance.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think that
Oh,
was
is that
Rebecca.
lovely? Lovely.
I haven't even seen that yet, so I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday afternoon.
Very
Kevin,
cool.
isn't there a second?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm mostly focusing on the other one. Sorry.
the second event?
Thursday, which the date is escaping me. That's
29th?
the 29th. People can bring back their pumpkins decorated or carved, and we're going to put them on the front of the library to decorate.
Yeah, we'll give them lights, right, to light them up, but
Yep.
that'll be nice.
Do you need our help with anything, Catherine?
Yeah, we're gonna do volunteer assignments and things like
Yeah.
that. We're still mapping it out.
Okay.
volunteer assignments.
Yeah, volunteer also.
That's
Yeah,
Let us know.
voluntary assignments.
volun-
Let us know.
It will be easy. It won't be a big lift.
Okay.
I'll be
Thank-
glad to volunteer.
Oh, I'm happy
Yes.
to too, sure.
Anything else under the pumpkin patch? How many people are you expecting, Catherine? I mean, it's
Well, we're doing it by sign up, so there's only a certain amount of people per hour, and it's going to be all. So it's 40 or so people an hour, and they each have a time slot, so they come at their specific time.
So how many hours so we can have a
Nine
ballpark?
to 2.
So that's
So about 300.
300. That's really good.
wonderful.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
That's wonderful. That's
And
terrific.
it sold
You're
out
also-
very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what Rebecca told me. So it's all filled up. And we just have to do a real quick setup in the morning. But
Okay.
Well, I think you're gonna have a lot of volunteers, whether we want to be there or not, we'll be.
that's true.
Catherine, Catherine, is that on Sunday morning? That was the 25th?
The
The
25th, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay, that's everything I have on the agenda, except, is there any other business? Anybody having, that's new business, so I don't have anything further. Does anybody else have anything?
the
Yeah.
chair, go ahead, I'm sorry, Richard, go ahead.
Back in May or June, I was talking to Bill. We're supposed to be evaluating the director once a year, and April was coming up. April had passed, and I talked to Bill about whether or not there was going to be any evaluation of the director. He said at the time that the Personnel Committee did have a meeting in January, talked about it, maybe January, February. When March came, everything went down the chute, and totally understandable. But I think we're long after a year in terms of service. It's something we should put on the agenda for next month is evaluation of the director.
It would not be on an open
that's-
agenda.
that's
It would be
personnel.
executive session with personnel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Personnel Committee.
And
Personnel committee meets, but the board votes.
But
Right, but
we
the
have
Personnel
not,
Committee has to give us a recommendation.
Right.
They have to meet and provide a recommendation to the board.
Correct. But could they meet between now and the November meeting?
That's up to
We
Judy.
could go in
Judy's the
executive
chair.
session. We could go in
Well,
executive session. and-
I could plan a meeting, but our third member of the Personnel Committee, Carol and Bill and myself, the third member, Bill's just had major surgery, and I'm not sure that we can get together. He's housebound. And, if we can set it up, I'll be glad to do so. And we understand our obligation to evaluate. But I'd like all of the committee to be there, the three members of our Personnel Committee, before I schedule a hearing. I will talk to Bill and see.
I will make every effort, not within the next week or so, but by the end of the month, I'll hopscotch around down to the library. And I think we should do it in person.
I agree.
The personnel meeting can meet in person. And then we could at least give a report back to the full committee at the November meeting. If not the final result, but at least keep them informed of what the status is. But I think by the end of this month, I can make it down to the library. If not, well, Carol will drag me down there and get me in there somehow.
And I think the other issue is, if I'm correct, Personnel Committee is always in executive session. We do not discuss
That's
personnel
correct. Yeah,
in an open session.
no.
Totally understood and agreed. I just thought that the Personnel Committee would then open it up to the rest of the trustees to contribute to that evaluation.
We have to
But
develop
only in
an
a-
instrument first.
But I think the intent that we started with back in January was the Personnel Committee would draft out and produce a document, a means of evaluation. And we would share it with the whole committee and ask the committee's input. The whole committee does have an obligation to input. The results being tabulated and the final report being issued by the Personnel Committee. So yes, a document's produced, shared with the committee.
Shared with the board.
Shared with the board. Then the results tabulated and brought forth before the board.
But that, the document
I just want to emphasize, it should be done in executive session when we report to the board.
Understood.
I just have a
Also-
question for Richard, a brief question. Richard, I'm kind of confused. I mean, Kathy O'Doherty was with us over 20 years. You never requested, evaluations of her. How come you're on a kick to have one for Bonnie? Is there?
Well, I believe we did do valuations of Kathy.
Did not ever,
Okay.
We did.
And there was a
nor
lot of-
Andrea.
and there was-
Oh, not that I recall.
Nope.
there was a-
I don't recall one either.
Yeah. It's in the handbook, the trustees handbook. We should do an evaluation.
But we
Well, I'm
did
not disputing that. My question is, why do you want one for Bonnie when you didn't want them for Kathy?
Because it's in the handbook.
And that's your only motivation?
Why would there be motivation to follow the handbook?
It sounds like there
It's
is.
just a question. It's just an innocent question.
And the answer
Well,
is
you
because
answered
it's in the handbook, but apparently that answer isn't good enough.
Well, I'm just curious, Richard. That's all. You've never
Well, the
followed.
handbook's been around for a long time.
I also remember that we wanted to do an evaluation of Andrea Bunker, and she fought it tooth and nail, and we never did.
Well, I'm not opposed to an evaluation of the director. I'm just questioning, just asking a few simple questions, that's all. But I agree with Judy that they have to be held in executive session.
That's understood. There's no debate.
Yep.
I also don't think we should be sharing, I don't know if Bill was referring to just like a rubric of how you, result, but I don't think we should be sharing those documents like to everyone via email.
No, agreed. No, I'm just, the committee, the personnel committee will meet to discuss the director's evaluation, and they'll report back to the full board. Correct? And then we can do that if there's time, the November or December meeting, whenever they get to having finalizing the report for the full board.
But I think Catherine's point is that as we share information, it should not be shared electronically. That if we
Yes.
share information, it should be done by hand, by post office, 55 cents or whatever it is,
Mhm.
rather than online. Because there will be a back and forth sharing of documents between now and the final product. Is that your point, Catherine, that should be done by hand?
Well, I
as
just
opposed-
don't feel like it's, you know, personal information should be shared and then could be, you know, reshared. It's just, you know.
Any
I just-
any
you're
paper
absolutely
produced, right, any paper produced is confidential and will be marked confidential
Yes.
Okay.
across the top of everyone.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with technology, someone could always take a picture and send it.
I know.
You know,
I just don't think it's, you know, I just want to avoid.
it's not the
No, we-
honorable thing to do, certainly, but I think
Let's-
hard copies are a good idea.
And we'll trust the 9 members of the board.
Right.
Okay.
Anything further?
Move to adjourn.
Thank
Second,
you. Roll call, please, motion to adjourn.
Jan,
Yes?
Bill,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Carol,
yes.
Loretta,
Yes.
Catherine, yes.
9-0 to adjourn at, I have 3:40. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll
Thank you.
November.